Welcome back to my channel, guys. It's time for another anime first impression video. Welcome once again, guys. We're going to be doing another anime first impression for the spring 2024 season. This is going to be on Mysterious Disappearances, and gosh, it has quite a bit of a interesting rating here on Crunchyroll, and I completely almost agree with most of these, for the exception of the 1 stars, but you have people saying a supernatural anime. I feel like there's potential here. Yes, I agree with that. A possible maybe, one says. Completely agree with that. Interesting start. Yes, great first episode. Mysterious Disappearances. Such a unique series. It is very unique. And then you have 2 people that gave them a 1 star for sexualizing pre-puberty kids or pedophilia, and I'll explain what they mean by that. I personally did not, it never crossed my mind, but then again, you know, I don't have first-hand experience with that kind of stuff. You know, I know a lot of people, it's a trigger. But personally, again, did not really see anything wrong with the series, and I'll explain where they're coming from in just a second. But before anything else, if you haven't done so by now, make sure you subscribe to my channel, give some love by commenting, liking, and sharing. You guys can follow me on social media and other places by checking out my description below. I do have, like I said, quite a bit of stuff already posted when it comes to first impressions. More to come this week. I will end next week with my first impressions. So if you haven't yet seen them, then go check those out. I do appreciate everyone who is supporting the channel at this point. So, okay, this series is going to be on Mysterious Disappearances. There's 1 episode out. It aired yesterday, time of recording. And it is basically... So it's an interesting, and like I said, a lot of these reviews kind of hit it right in the spot. A real interesting start. I don't know where it's going from this direction. So we follow who I thought was going to be the main character, maybe not so much, Sumireko. And Sumireko is the girl who was a young novelist at one point. She won awards. She was going to be like the next big thing, and she didn't. She became a clerk of a bookstore, and eventually in the anime she breaks down, and we find out that she's been writing still for years, and it's not that she hasn't tried, is that no one likes what she writes. So she works at this bookstore, and in this bookstore, she has a coworker, a young coworker called Ren. Now, we don't know the age of Ren, but I would say he's probably right out of high school, maybe 18, 19 years old. And Sumireko, she's 27, about to be 28, and she obviously is years apart from this boy, so when he's flirtatious with her at work, she just kind of brushes it off as kind of hormones or hormonal guy, right? So that's kind of where we're at with their relationship. Well, she goes home and she has a rough night. It's the night before her 28th birthday, and she doesn't know how to feel about all this, and it's such an interesting thing. And I think it hits women a lot more, or a lot sooner than guys. But as we get older, we tend to start feeling like our lives are done, right? And I've felt like that before. I think we hit that a few times in our lives. But coming into a new stage of life can be scary, and she definitely is coming to a new stage of life. She's remembering all the awards and all the things that she did as a kid, as a writer, and she's kind of contemplating the fact that maybe it was her youthness that got her to where she was at then, and now that she's old, she's done. So we then see more stuff basically happening in the episode, and she finds this random book. It hits midnight. She finds this random book that comes out of her purse. She doesn't know about it. It's weird written, and she reads a poem, and it's basically a poem about someone who wants to be young again, right? She laughs it off, and she goes to the grocery store looking for a cake for her birthday. Well, in the grocery store, her body transforms from a woman to a girl. Now, this is where I guess the pedophilia hits, and I don't really think it does, but she becomes a little girl, right? And because she turns into a little girl, she acts like a little girl, and her body and her brain is becoming like a little girl. So she becomes lost. She's missing, right? A few days pass. Ren is worried about her. Her coworker, her boss starts asking questions. Ren covers for her. We don't know yet if he knows about what's going on or if he simply just is covering for her. But he is sent at one point to go do like a wellness check at her home, and he finds the book, and he seems to know more about it than we thought. He grabs the book and he sprints out looking for Sumureko, and Sumureko is basically in the street. We don't really know where exactly, but she's in the street writing notes for her next novel, and she's lost. She starts realizing that she forgot where she lives. Again, she's a little girl now, so she forgot where she lives. So then she bumps into our protagonist, who I think now is a protagonist, is Ren, and Ren is stopping her, and she's like, "Hey, you're bleeding," and yeah, she is bleeding out, and he's like, "It's because your brain and muscles and bones, they're supposed to be adult, and they're not resisting to be in a little girl's body." So he shows her basically another incantation from the book, which we learn now that it's black magic, and for her to go back to her regular size. And she does, but then she realizes that she can transform back and forth, and it becomes a chase. She wants to be young. She doesn't want to be old, and the whole reason is the writing. Like, it's nothing to do about her body or anything like that. So she eventually is caught by Ren and takes the book from her, and she kind of has the realization that, you know, she's gonna be who she is. She can't change the present, and really her life is in danger if she stays as a little girl. And that, in a nutshell, is the first episode. I don't think there is really much more to the first episode. We do kind of get a hint that Ren is going to be essentially searching around for these books, or black magic books, because at the end of the series, or the episode, sorry, we see him handing this book to like some occult person, and so he is definitely retrieving these books for his gain or job. We're not really sure. So yeah, that's that. Ren's probably the main character. Sumureko might, I guess, join him. Again, the two reviews that talk about pedophilia here at Crunchyroll don't know where they're coming from, other than Sumureko turning into a little girl and them maybe thinking she's being sexualized. And there is weird, like, because she transforms to a girl and she's wearing her adult clothes. Her clothes is loose fitting, so I can only imagine that that's what they're referring to, is that it's a little girl in loose-fitting clothes that maybe a predator who watches this anime is going to enjoy watching. But then that debate would fall into like any series that has any kid, because in reality, predators, they don't really care if the kid is doing any sexy stuff or not. They're predators. Like, they have a mentality they have that is not functioning well, as the only thing, nicest way I can say it, that they will sexualize anything. So I don't know. It didn't cross my mind while watching this episode, but I guess it can come out like that. So yeah. Thank you guys so much for watching this. If you haven't done so by now, subscribe to my channel, give some love by commenting, liking, and sharing, and I will see you next time. Like always, don't be strangers. See you guys.